Okay, we're going to get started. I love seeing all the buzz in the room. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour à tous. Hello, welcome. My name is M-E-G. So I said in ASL, hello, welcome. My name is Meg. It's my honor and privilege to be your MC for today's event. My name is Megan Richards, and I am the Program Manager of Accessibility at the City of Ottawa. Je m'appelle Megan Richards et je suis gestionnaire du
My name
programme.
is Megan Richards, and I am the program manager of accessibility at the City of Ottawa.
I am a young-ish white woman with brown hair and thick glasses. I'm wearing a black Accessibility Office t-shirt with accessibility icons, and I live with disabilities that are sometimes visible and sometimes not. Welcome to the City of Ottawa's 23rd Annual Accessibility Day event. To allow everyone to participate in today's event, we're live streaming on the City of Ottawa's YouTube account. Welcome to those watching online as well. Before we begin, there are a few housekeeping items to review to ensure everyone can participate accessibly in our event today. This event will be simultaneously translated in French through our audio loops. They're just at the front. Hearing amplification is also available through these headsets. If you require either, please notify one of our staff volunteers in blue t-shirts and they can assist you. Cet événement fera l'objet d'une traduction simultanée en
This event will be simultaneously translated in French through our audio loops. Hearing amplification is also available through these headsets. If you require either, please notify one of our staff volunteers in blue shirts, and they can assist you.
On-screen captioning is provided in both English and French on the screens in front of you. We have American Sign Language and Langue de Signes Québécoise interpreters just beside me on the left and right of the podium. There are also two personal care assistants joining us from Wimble today. Levelyn and Delia are by the doors in white Wimble t-shirts. They are experienced PSWs and are available to anyone who needs personal care assistance throughout the day with a washroom break, to get a drink, or over the lunch break. Please don't hesitate to approach Levelyn and Delia if you require assistance. Des interprètes de la langue de signes sont devant vous.
Sign language interpreters are standing in front of you. In addition, two additional personal support workers from Wimble events are here today. In case you need any assistance,
Host an event like this today without the incredible support of our staff volunteers. To ensure today is a great experience for everyone, we have a full team on hand. Just look for anyone wearing a blue t-shirt if you have a question or need support. We understand that accessibility is a continuous journey and that today's event may contain barriers we have not identified. We remain committed to continuous learning and improvement. If you notice any barriers or need support, please connect with staff so we can ensure everyone's full participation. Before we begin, I'd like to recognize that in Ottawa and across Canada, we live, work, and play on traditional Indigenous territories. J'aimerais reconnaître qu'à Ottawa et au Canada, nous vivons,
so
travaillons.
in Ottawa and Canada, we live, work, and play on traditional Aboriginal territories.
The Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation. We extend our respect to all First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples for their valuable contributions, both past and present, to this land. The peoples of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation have lived on this territory for millennia, stewarding the land, the water, and all that contributes to life in this region. The traditional territory of the Algonquin peoples includes the Ottawa Valley and adjacent lands, straddling the border between what is now Quebec and Ontario. The Indigenous population of Canada experiences a disability rate much higher than the general population, approximately 30 to 35%. Research shows that Indigenous persons with disabilities often experience additional discrimination and barriers that impact their ability to fully participate in the social and economic opportunities in our communities because of this intersectionality. In our work to increase accessibility across our city, may we be mindful of the Indigenous community of persons with disabilities and work towards reconciliation and ensuring voices, perspectives, and experiences are an integral part of our work. As a team, we commit to bring forward the ideal of an inclusive society where First Nations, Métis, and Inuit persons living with disabilities are recognized, celebrated, and valued for the significant contributions they provide to our communities, organizations, and city. Again, I encourage you to be mindful of the land we are on today and consider your own role in reconciliation and inclusion. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech. I'd like to extend a warm welcome and heartfelt thanks to the members of Ottawa City Council and our senior leadership team who are here today. And I see many of you in the audience. Thank you for coming to try wheelchair basketball and for trusting me that it would be fun. It looked like you were all having a good time. Your presence today reflects the city's continued commitment to advancing accessibility for all. Accessibility Day in Ottawa is celebrated every year as part of National Accessibility Week, which starts next week. This is a federal initiative that celebrates the contributions of people with disabilities and promotes inclusion and accessibility in communities and workplaces across Canada. La Journée de l'Accessibilité à Ottawa.
Accessibility Day in Ottawa is celebrated every year as part of the National Accessibility Week. This is a federal initiative that celebrates the contributions of people with disabilities and promotes inclusion and accessibility in communities and workplaces across Canada.
Part of Accessibility Day 2026, the city is proud to be partnering with Wheelchair Basketball Canada in anticipation of the 2026 International Wheelchair Basketball World Championships, which will be hosted in Ottawa this September. In recognition, In recognition of this partnership, the theme of this year's Accessibility Day is Game Changers, accessible sport in action. To officially begin our event, I'd now like to invite Mayor Sutcliffe to say a few words and present the proclamation. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. C'est vraiment un plaisir de vous accueillir ici à
It's
l'Hôtel
truly a pleasure to welcome you here today.
You cannot see me. I will describe myself as a white man with salt and pepper hair, more gray hair all the time. And I'm wearing a blue shirt and a blue blazer. Bienvenue à la 23e édition annuelle de la Journée de
Welcome
l'Accessibilité.
to the 23rd edition of the annual Accessibility Day.
National Accessibility Week with so many community leaders, so many familiar faces, so many advocates, with our friends from Wheelchair Basketball Canada, including some athletes who are going to be participating in the World Championships in just a few months right here in Ottawa. We're very proud to be hosting that event. I want to take a moment to salute my colleague Marty Carr, who is the council liaison for the city's Accessibility Advisory Committee. Thank you, Marty, for all your hard work and advocacy. Also, my colleagues who are here today, including David Hill, Riley Brockington, Glenn Gower, Matthew Luloff, Catherine Kitts, and Ariel Troster. I think that covers everybody from council who's here today. I think I got everyone. I want to say welcome as well to our city manager, Wendy Stephenson, and members of the senior leadership team who are joining us. I wanted to say a big thank you to Megan. Megan, thank you for all your incredible work and leadership. You've done a great job as the program manager for the Accessibility Office. And welcome to the members of the Accessibility Advisory Committee. We're very, very grateful for your hard work and your guidance. And to all the others who are taking part today, both here at City Hall and online, it's great to be with all of you. Je suis très heureux d'être ici avec vous tous.
I'm very happy to be here with you today.
By saying something that should be obvious, which is that accessibility is about building a city where everyone, every single person, can move through their day with dignity, with independence, and with confidence. Where everyone, every single resident of Ottawa should feel like this city was built for them. Quand une ville est accessible, la
When
vie
a city is accessible, life is simply better for everyone.
all of you for helping our city become more accessible. Because of your advocacy, you are pushing us to think differently and act differently. You're pushing us to improve our public spaces. You're helping us rethink programs and services so they work better for more people. And we know there's lots of work left to do. There's no question about that. We have a long way to go. But I am proud of the progress we are making together. Last December, I had the privilege of presenting the first Accessible Ottawa Awards. First of all, to Super Kyle Humphrey, and the organization, there you are, Kyle, and the organization called Wimble. We created these awards, and we were proud to present them in order to recognize the people and organizations who are helping make Ottawa more accessible, more inclusive, more welcoming every single day. And I'm very happy to announce that the nominations are now officially open for this year's Accessible Ottawa Awards. So if you know anyone who deserves recognition, please submit a nomination for them. These efforts deserve to be seen, celebrated, and shared across our city. Tout ce progrès mérite d'être
All this
salué.
progress deserves to be saluted and celebrated.
Information is available at ottawa.ca. And I want to mention as well that Kyle and his wonderful mom, Hélène, joined us at City Council earlier this week. We had a few positive things to move forward for the accessibility community. You may have heard and learned that Stopgap Ottawa stopped operating last month. Kyle intervened quickly to highlight just how important this service was. For those with mobility challenges, we know those temporary ramps provide access to dozens of restaurants and businesses across our city. Nous savions qu'il fallait trouver une solution.
We knew we had to find a solution.
A motion which I was proud to second at City Council, asking city staff to partner with the Stopgap Foundation to keep the service going. And we will be voting on that motion in a couple of weeks. We are contributing $10,000 from the budget in my office towards this initiative until the end of the year, and then I'm hoping we can continue the partnership in the future. We're also going to partner with our business improvement areas so that all of their vibrant businesses become aware of this service so that we'll see increased demand throughout the city. Also, working with Councillor Gower and Councillor Sean Menard, we also brought forward a package of measures that will enhance service and increase the reliability of our transit service in the coming months. And as part of this package, we're going to buy 2 new paratranspo buses to add capacity to our fleet, and we're extending our paratranspo hours on Friday and Saturday evenings to align with the LRT schedule, which many users have been asking for. These 2 motions, the one about stopgap and this one, will be voted on at the next council meeting on June 10th, and I'm very confident they will receive broad support from City Council. And again, I want to thank Councillor Carr and I want to thank Kyle for your hard work and advocacy championing these important measures. Ces mesures importantes rendent
These
notre ville
important measures make our city more accessible for all.
I have something that I'm especially excited to talk about, the theme of this year's event, Game Changers, Accessible Sport in Action. I think Ottawa is a great sports city. I know many of us here are Senators fans, and we cheer on all the other teams in Ottawa as well, the Charge and the Red Blacks, the Titans and more. And that is one reason why it is such an honor for Ottawa to be hosting the Wheelchair Basketball World Championships this year. We are going to welcome 28 men's and women's teams from around the world to Ottawa. Ce sera la plus grande compétition de
This will be the
basketball
biggest basketball competition ever organized in Canada.
shows the confidence that the wheelchair basketball organizers have in our city, and we are ready to welcome the world to an accessible Ottawa. Before I read to the Accessibility Day proclamation, I want to thank everyone who helped organize today's event and the many athletes and advocates who are representing inclusive sports organizations, including Wheelchair Basketball Canada, Skiability, and the Special Olympics. And now it's my honor to read the proclamation, and I'd like to invite Wendy Gittins, the CEO of Wheelchair Basketball Canada, along with national athletes Tyler Miller and Lee Melmick, to join me on stage. If you could come forward, please. Looking forward to seeing you guys play in September. and then at the Paralympics in Los Angeles. Whereas each year, National Accessibility Week in Canada is an opportunity to celebrate the valuable contributions of persons with disabilities in building a more inclusive and equitable society. And whereas this week is recognized across the country by individuals and organizations who play a vital role in identifying and eliminating discrimination, marginalization, exclusion, and barriers affecting people with disabilities. And whereas the City of Ottawa is committed to providing equal treatment to persons with disabilities with respect to use and benefit of city services, programs, goods, and facilities in an equitable and respectful manner. And whereas the City of Ottawa is proud to mark the 23rd Annual Accessibility Day event, hosted in partnership with Wheelchair Basketball Canada under the theme Game Changers, Accessible Sport in Action, to highlight the transformative power of inclusive sport, and to honor the dedicated athletes, advocates, and community leaders who work tirelessly to eliminate barriers and to create a city where everyone can participate and thrive. Therefore, I, Mark Sutcliffe, Mayor of the City of Ottawa, do hereby proclaim May 29th, 2026, Accessibility Day in Ottawa. Thank you, everyone. Merci.
Thank you, Mayor Sutcliffe, for your dedication to advancing accessibility throughout the city. And really exciting that you mentioned those notices of motion, and we're really excited for the discussion on those in a few weeks. Your support over the years has been instrumental in helping us make meaningful progress towards our shared goals. And I think they're going to get the mayor out there in one of those sports chairs to shoot a few hoops as well. I would now like to invite City Manager Wendy Stephenson to say a few words. Thanks, Wendy.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Megan, and good morning, everyone. And I too want to say a huge thank you to Megan and her team for the work that they do every day in the Accessibility Office, and a special thanks to Megan this morning for being our MC. So thank you to Megan. Please, everyone, a round of applause. As Megan mentioned, my name is Wendy Stephenson. I'm the city manager here at the City of Ottawa. And for those who cannot see me, I am approximately 5.4. This is my my accounting coming out here. I'm 5 feet 4 inches tall. I normally have 5-inch heels on, but I don't today because I was participating in the sport this morning. I have black pants on today. I have a blue blazer. The blazer is dusted up from the game of wheelchair basketball, so really appreciative of that. I have brown hair and glasses. And I'm really excited to be here for the annual Accessibility Day. Je suis très heureuse d'être ici aujourd'hui. And I want to say a huge thank you to everyone joining us here in the room and online. It's wonderful to see such a strong turnout from staff, from community, from residents and visitors to our wonderful city. And events like these, they're really important opportunity for us to come together and really celebrate the progress and continue that conversation about building a more inclusive and accessible city for everybody. And I really want to thank the organizers in the city's accessibility office who really worked hard to bring the session and the day together for us. Your efforts shine a light on the work that's being done across our community to advance accessibility and inclusion. And this year's theme, Game Changers, Accessible Sport in Action, highlights the powerful role that sport and recreation play in building our community, promoting healthy lifestyles, and creating opportunities for everybody to participate. And accessible sport is more about, it's more than competition. It's about breaking down the barriers, fostering belonging, and ensuring that everybody has a chance to experience the joy, the confidence, and connection that come from being active. And I would say today's game of accessible wheelchair basketball was exactly this. What a great way to start the day. And I want to say a huge thank you to the pros on the field who coached us and helped us and really create that spirit of belonging in the game this morning. It was so appreciated, and it just gave us all an opportunity to participate. And I know for myself, I've always found, participating in a sport is something that's absolutely essential in terms of not only my physical health, but my mental health as well. So I was really pleased to see that connection this morning and the theme that we have today for Accessibility Day. Now, I am sure that many of you are looking forward to hearing from today's panel of athletes. They're going to share their lived experiences of participating in sport as persons with disabilities. And their stories are going to remind us why accessibility matters and how meaningful participation in sport can truly be life-changing. And we've heard this from a couple of the speakers this morning, that we are so proud to host the 2026 Wheelchair Basketball World Championships in Ottawa this September. Woohoo! This international event is going to bring incredible athletes to our city and showcase the determination, the skill, and that defines the adaptive sport. It's really an exciting occasion, not only to celebrate the elite athletic performance, but also to inspire our community and highlight the importance of accessible recreation opportunities here at home. And I also think it's a great opportunity for the city and our local businesses, our retailers, our tourist destinations to really rise to the occasion and ensure that their public spaces are accessible for all, something that we're committed to here at the city. And I know in my job, I see every day the dedication of our team across all the departments who work to ensure accessibility is considered from the very beginning of our projects, our programs, and our services. Whether it's designing accessible infrastructure, creating inclusive recreation programs, or improving the way that we deliver our services, these efforts help shape a city that everyone can participate fully and equitably. Building an accessible Ottawa is not the work of any one department or any individual. It is really a shared responsibility, and it takes collaboration, creativity, and commitment from staff across the organization, as well as from our community partners. Bâtir une ville d'Ottawa accessible, ce n'est pas le travail d'une seule
Creating an
personne.
accessible Ottawa is not just one department's or one person's responsibility. It is a shared responsibility.
Speaking of which, I would also like to take a moment to highlight an upcoming opportunity that reflects our shared commitment to building an inclusive and accessible Ottawa for everyone. The city's going to be launching soon our Older Ottawa Adult Plan Fund. We're going to put out a call for proposals, and that supports initiatives and programs that helps Ottawa be more inclusive and supportive for our community of older adults, and some of those who will also benefit from accessibility-focused efforts. And through this fund, we're inviting not-for-profit organizations and city departments to bring forward ideas that are going to align with these funding priorities and help remove barriers, strengthen inclusion, and enhance quality of life for older adults. Information on the fund is available on ottawa.ca now under community funding, and applications will formally launch on June the 10th. So I encourage those with ideas and initiatives to learn more. Check it out on ottawa.ca and consider applying. I want to thank my colleagues across the city, including our senior leaders, our managers, and staff in the Accessibility Working Group for the leadership and dedication that you bring to this work every day. Your efforts reflect the very best, one city, one team, and our commitment to service excellence. Vos efforts reflètent l'impact de la vision, une ville, une
Your efforts are the best of what Team Ottawa can offer and show our commitment to excellence in service.
to take some time and check out the resource fair out in Jean Piggott Hall. It's absolutely amazing, and you'll get a really good idea in terms of what's available. So thank you, everybody, for taking the time to be here today. I really hope that you have an amazing day and enjoy the day. Happy Accessibility Day. Thank you. Merci.
And podium assistant front, I'll just do a quick intro. Thank you, Wendy, for sharing some of the great initiatives underway at the city. We're grateful for your leadership and the dedication you bring to this important commitment. Next, I would like to welcome two members of Ottawa's Accessibility Advisory Committee to say a few words on the important work of the committee in addressing barriers and championing accessibility and inclusion across the city. We are joined by Vice Chair Dr. Hall Ellingwood, who is here with us virtually, and member Wayne Antle, who is here with me in person. Bienvenue et merci d'être ici, Hall et Wayne.
Welcome and thank you for being here, Hall and Wayne.
Okay, that's good. I got a loud voice.
It'll pick you up.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Bonjour tout le monde. And thank you all for taking the time to attend this Accessibility Day in Ottawa. I am here, as Meg said, I'm here with you on behalf of Ottawa's Accessibility Advisory Committee, which is established pursuant to the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disability Act, or AODA. Our committee provides helpful input to ensure that accessibility is considered in every program and policy developed in the city. Our members are all volunteers, and we meet regularly to hear from city staff and delegations so that we can provide input on the accessibility of the various programs and developments in the city. First, I'd like to thank all the members of the committee for their commitment and expertise. So what does accessibility mean for the more than 250,000 residents of and visitors to our great city that live with a disability? Accessibility means that we can all fully work, play, and learn in Ottawa regardless of our disability. It means that each of us can attend one of Ottawa's many festivals and not have to worry about overcoming barriers so that we can fully enjoy the event. It means that parents can bring their children to a playground and they and their children can enjoy the playground along with all the other parents and kids. It means that we can all use public transit, taxis, or ride share in Ottawa to get to our jobs, business, school, or any other location. It means that we all have access to affordable housing regardless of our disability. It means that we can walk down a city sidewalk or cross a city street without having to worry about our personal safety. And it means that we can go to a community center, a recreational complex, or an entertainment venue and fully enjoy it along with everybody else. In short, accessibility means that every one of us can fully participate in everything that Ottawa has to offer. Are we there yet? Definitely not, but we are making progress every day. Our committee puts the focus on accessibility for city staff and city council so that every new program, policy, and infrastructure development is seen through an accessibility lens. And it's not just our committee. It's also the many delegations who present on a variety of issues throughout the year. The AAC and the many others who present provide invaluable insight through their lived experience and expertise so that we can provide meaningful input to improve the accessibility of every project. Nothing about us without us. Personally, I am so grateful to be part of an amazing group of volunteers. Each of us is committed to making sure that Ottawa includes everyone. Excuse me. While eliminating physical barriers is crucial to making sure Ottawa is fully inclusive, sometimes the most difficult barriers to overcome are attitudinal barriers. We have the technology and infrastructure to overcome almost any obstacle, with the challenge being to make sure it's implemented. Attitudinal barriers are more insidious. In my opinion, the best way to overcome these barriers is to have more people with disabilities working, playing, and learning alongside everybody else, so that we are considered not based on our disability, but first and foremost as colleagues, co-workers, fellow students, and teammates. And this brings me to the theme of this conference, which is game changers and accessibility in sports. I can by no means be considered an athlete, but I do enjoy curling, and I'm a member of the Blind Curling Club, Ottawa Blind Curling Club. When people ask me, how do you do this as a blind person? It gives me a chance to explain how this works and thereby chip away at an attitudinal barrier. And this is just one small example that is greatly amplified by the many athletes who perform at a very high level. I personally know of blind marathon runners, blind swimmers, and wheelchair athletes. Removing barriers so that every athlete can reach their full potential is essential to creating a society that includes everyone. It also has the added benefit of helping chip away at the attitudinal barriers by breaking down people's assumptions. And I want to close by just reflecting the times in which we live. Recently, many people internationally and in Canada, or not many, but some people, have challenged the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now more than ever, we have to be vigilant to ensure that the full mosaic of our society is reflected in everything we do. We all have ideas and perspectives to bring forward, and we are all better off when we incorporate diverse points of view and work to ensure that everybody enjoys the richness of Ottawa. So thank you very much again for attending, and I look forward to the rest of the event.
Thank you so much, Wayne, for those words. I really appreciate it. Hello, everyone. Bonjour. Utilidak. Welcome. Now, I know sometimes people describe themselves in recognizing that some of us low vision don't have any reference for what people look like in general. I'll simply leave my description as this. I'm not so tall in stature, but I'm pretty big in heart. Also, I heard our mayor mention about Accessibility Week right around the bend. And at the same time, I was thinking how June is also Indigenous History Month, as well as the start of Pride season. As a man whose identities overlap into all three of those spaces, it was a really lovely reminder to me that we as a community, as persons with disabilities, are everyone. We overlap with all identities. We are all peoples. What a beautiful, grand community we are. In terms of the city, I was very grateful about 10 years ago in an initiative that started the free Try Me lessons for the city of Ottawa at local recreation centers. There, I tried some things and ended up joining an Aikido club, which is a martial art. And the people were so welcoming. And it was such a lovely experience. I've been doing it now for nearly 10 years. And I really encourage everyone, take advantage of those types of things, to find your team, find your sport, find the thing that you're really passionate about and enjoy so that you can know and have that sense of belonging. That's so important. Now, I'm joining you virtually, but I'm also here in Ottawa, a place that proves there's a really quiet strength here woven into this space, and those of us who call it home. There's a real kindness in our community that shapes not only our present, but our future. Ordinary people doing what may not seem extraordinary in the moment, but together those actions create something really beautiful, a future open to all. And as Wayne said, we're not there yet, but we're getting there piece by piece. You may have heard before that Ottawa is not just a capital, it's a heartbeat. And when I think about that heartbeat, I think about our committee, the Accessibility Advisory Committee. The fact that this year marks our 20th anniversary. Formed in 2006, we have spent 2 decades pushing, building, imagining a more accessible city. It is generational work. This kind of work always is. It's the kind of work where progress is measured in steps, not leaps, but steps that future generations will thrive because of the work we do today. Now, this past year, in keeping with our sports theme, we've had some wins and we've had some losses, just like any team. But every play matters. We're consulted on items like the Ottawa Hospital to Dow's Lake LRT station, the multi-use connection environmental assessment study. These things are important because they help to identify the gaps that need to be addressed for our community. We contributed to the O-Train operations transition to push button doors, opening the system to more people to have greater independence. We worked on the e-scooter pilot project and the Lansdowne phases and the North Side Stands accessibility design. We reviewed traffic and parking bylaw amendments and important action plans, such as the City of Ottawa's Municipal Accessibility Plan. All of these things which help year by year create that more accessible city. And when we talk about teams, I've been reflecting about something important because teams, real teams, are made up of far more than the players on the court or the field. So if we think about it, a team isn't only the athletes, it's the coaches who guide them, it's the trainers who keep them strong, it's the people carrying water, taping ankles, setting up equipment, it's the families cheering from the sidelines and driving to those early morning and late practices. It's the sponsors, the volunteers, the supporters, the people who show up. And aren't we all like that? What can any one person truly achieve alone? Even the greatest individual athlete will tell you that whatever they have accomplished, they did it because of the people who surrounded them, supported them, lifted them, and believed in them. Just like we support each other in this space, just like this committee supports the city and the communities that we serve, just like the community supports the future we're building together. Which brings me back to the idea that I've been reflecting on for the last couple of weeks is what makes a team? Because it's not just people doing the same thing. People, whether you work together or play together, what makes a team is trust. Trust is knowing someone will pass you the ball when you're open. Trust is knowing someone will help you when you stumble. Trust is knowing that someone has your back, not because they have to, but because they choose to. And that's what builds not just teams, but community. That's what builds our future. Accessibility isn't a checklist. It's not a box to tick. It's a commitment to trust, to care, to possibility. It's a commitment to each other. So today, when we proclaim Accessibility Day, we're not just recognizing the work that has been done. We're recognizing the work that continues and the work ahead, the work that grows, the work that strengthens, the work that builds a city where everyone belongs and everyone flourishes. Ottawa is a heartbeat, but each of us here today is part of that rhythm. Always remember that and carry that in your heart. Walaliak, merci. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hall and Wayne. Excellent speeches, both of you, and lots of thoughtfulness for all of us and takeaways. I also want to recognize all the members of the Accessibility Advisory Committee. We're so thankful for your time, your feedback, and your expertise to drive positive change and create a more accessible city for all. I will now turn the floor over to Elizabeth Whistle, Coordinator with Inclusive Recreation, to talk about how the Recreation, Culture, and Facilities Services Department supports inclusion every day through programs, services, partnerships, and accessible facilities. Her presentation will highlight the practical ways that recreation can create more welcoming and accessible spaces for everyone in our community.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth. I am a white woman, shoulder-length brown hair, wearing a yellow shirt and a black skirt. I'm here on behalf of the Recreation, Culture, and Facility Services Department. I want to help explain how we create opportunities for all and what accessible recreation in action looks like. The City of Ottawa's Recreation, Culture, and Facility Department is committed to creating inclusive, accessible recreation opportunities for individuals of all abilities. Our goal is to reduce barriers, support meaningful participation in our programs, camps offered through our department. The Inclusive Recreation Unit works collaboratively with the departments to support individuals with disabilities through a range of services. This includes integration support with individualized accommodation, access to specialized adapted programs, and the use of accessible equipment to enhance participation. We also partner across departments with community organizations to expand accessible programs. Together, these efforts aim to provide flexible, responsive, and welcoming recreation opportunities that promote inclusion, independence, and community participation for all. It's not working. Nope. If I could have whoever is controlling my slides to move to slide 3 because my little clicker does not work. So this presentation today will help illustrate how our department, how the Recreation and Culture Department supports participation in the day-to-day. Slide 4. So integration support provides opportunities for children with disabilities to participate in various programs such as after-school, PA days, and summer, March, and winter breaks. This can either be through one-on-one support or through mentor support. So for children who need more one-on-one support, that direct support, we offer shared care, which is a one-to-one option. In the summer, participants can receive up to 2 weeks of this support with the goal of reaching as many families as possible. It's important to note that this program is first come, first serve, and an intake planning ahead of time really helps set everyone up for success. For the children needing a little less support, not necessarily needing that one-to-one support, we also have inclusive mentors. They work more behind the scenes to support staff with strategies, trainings, and resources to help adapt their programs and build confidence. Overall, the goal is to increase access and make sure more participants can successfully and meaningfully participate in our programs. Next slide, please. Another big piece of the work is the spaces themselves. not just the programs we offer. When our facilities come up for life cycle renewal, renovations, we're really intentional about building inclusion in from the start, not just adding them later. This is an example of what that looks like in practice. On this slide is an accessible washroom in the Universal Change Room at Raphael Recreation Complex. It includes an adult-sized change table and lift system, both of which are critical supports for many individuals. Without features like this, participating in something as simple as going for a swim just isn't possible. So when we talk about inclusion, this is what it looks like in the day-to-day, making sure that our spaces are usable for the people we serve. And we're continuing to build more of these features into our facilities as we are renewing them over time. Building on these accessible spaces, like the change room, we also look at how we can, next slide please, we can create more inclusive program experiences for participants once they're in the water. An example of a newer program we've been developing is our Inclusive Recreation Private Swim lessons. These lessons are designed for individuals with developmental or cognitive disabilities who may not thrive in a traditional group setting. What this looks like in practice is more flexible, slower pacing, individualized support, and instructors who are trained to adapt each lessons. It's really about creating the right environment so people can build confidence in the water, develop water safety skills, and have a positive experience. Building on that same idea of access to recreational spaces, we also look how we can extend these opportunities beyond our facilities and into the community. Beach accessible wheelchairs are available at Mooney's Bay, Britannia, Westboro, and Petrie Island beaches. The chairs are submersible, sitting on large inflatable tires that enable the chairs to cross the sand and enter the water. They're also equipped with adjustable armrests and quick release seatbelts for comfort and security. For many individuals, this is what makes going to the beach possible. Here is through the Arts Animation Program, we offer accessible workshops to groups with disabilities through the City of Ottawa's Inclusive Recreation Program and in partnership with organizations such as CHIO. The arts animation team delivered engaging activities to in visual arts, dance, and music using specialized tools and materials. Workshops were adapted to meet participants' diverse needs and focused on creating inclusive and enjoyable experience for participants with disabilities. This slide highlights an example of how recreation and cultural spaces are working to reduce barriers.
Cette diapo illustre les espaces de loisirs et culturels qui s'efforcent de réduire les obstacles à l'accès. L'exposition Beyond the Brim, au-delà du rebord, a été spécialement conçue pour aider les visiteurs aveugles ou malvoyants en leur proposant plusieurs façons de découvrir le contenu, non seulement visuellement, mais aussi par le toucher et l'ouïe. Les visiteurs peuvent accéder au texte de l'exposition en ligne à l'aide de lecteurs d'écran ou le télécharger sur leurs propres appareils pour le lire ou l'écouter à leur rythme. Il y a aussi des visites tactiles qui sont également proposées, permettant une expérience plus interactive. Un exemple au sein de l'exposition est la présence du casque de football américain de Russ Jackson des Rough Riders d'Ottawa. Ainsi, les visiteurs peuvent interagir physiquement avec l'histoire plutôt que se contenter de la regarder. Dans l'ensemble, il s'agit d'un excellent exemple de la manière dont une conception bien pensée et des points d'accès multiples peuvent créer une expérience plus inclusive pour un public plus large. Il s'agit d'un de nos partenariats communautaires, ProSet Tennis Inclusif. Alors, ProSet propose un programme de tennis pour enfants structuré, stimulant au court de tennis communautaire à Pinecrest et à Carldale Recreation Complex. Ce programme est conçu pour aider les enfants et les jeunes à acquérir les bases du tennis tout en développant leur coordination, leur motricité et leur confiance. Les séances se concentrent sur 5 domaines clés du développement: l'attention conjointe, le développement moteur, la croissance socio-émotionnelle, la motivation et la participation. Les entraîneurs adaptent leur enseignement au niveau de chaque enfant afin de garantir des progrès réguliers dans un environnement positif et encourageant. Les participants acquièrent des compétences en échange et améliorent leur schéma de mouvement et développent le goût durable pour le tennis. Des partenariats comme celui-ci élargissent véritablement notre offre et nous permettent de toucher davantage de personnes au sein de la communauté. Parce que l'inclusion ne se résume pas à un simple programme, c'est une valeur qui doit être intégrée dans tout ce que nous faisons. Dans toute la ville, nous disposons de plus de 60 installations de loisirs, dont 18 équipées d'appareils de conditionnement physique, y compris des appareils accessibles, que ce soit avec des piscines accessibles, des centres de conditionnement physique ou des espaces communautaires accessibles. Nous avons aussi mis en place des politiques qui éliminent les obstacles avant même que quelqu'un ne franchisse la porte, par exemple en autorisant des accompagnateurs, les animaux d'assistance et les appareils fonctionnels. Et puis il y a les équipements et les espaces eux-mêmes, des équipements de conditionnement accessibles, des vestiaires, des ascenseurs qui sont disponibles dans bon nombre de nos sites et nous continuons à développer cette offre. Et ceci m'amène à l'histoire d'Angie. Elle illustre parfaitement ce que peut être dans la pratique une activité de loisir inclusive. J'ai eu le plaisir de rencontrer Angie il y a quelques semaines. Elle a été accueillie au centre communautaire Jack Purcell grâce à son kinésithérapeute suite à sa rééducation. Et donc, elle a développé une routine très régulière. Elle vient 3 fois par semaine sans faute. Elle vient de façon autonome grâce à Paratranspo et dès son arrivée, elle est accueillie par le personnel et les autres usagers de la salle, du gym. Il y règne un véritable sentiment de familiarité et de communauté. Elle intègre beaucoup de cardio dans sa routine en utilisant des équipements comme le New Step et le Sci-Fit qui permettent de faire travailler à la fois le haut et le bas du corps.
While remaining safe and stable. She also uses a modified concept rower. This is a recent addition to the Jack Purcell gym, which has been adapted so she can roll her chair over rather than transferring over to the rower's seat. This modification was made possible through the collaboration of the City of Ottawa and the Ottawa U engineering students. This project took place over 5 years. Together, the team developed a functional prototype that was easy to use, easy to set up, and great for participants. Only through many iterations have they managed to make it a viable adapter. This adapter opens a whole new world of possibilities for our clients because the things they can do in a weight room have always been limited. In addition to cardio, Angie also focuses on strength and mobility. She uses free weights and weight machines supported by a movable bench that can be repositioned to allow wheelchair access. That flexibility is key. It means the environment adapts to the person, not the other way around. There's also a modified leg press machine, which includes support to help hold the participants' feet in place. This allows Angie and others to safely push through the movement and build lower body strength in a controlled way. Another really important piece of a routine is the standing machine. This allows her to come to a supported standing position, giving her legs a stretch. After long periods of sitting, it supports circulation, positioning, and overall physical health. All of these pieces together help Angie maintain her strength, mobility, and independence. What makes this really stand out isn't just the equipment. It's the people and the level of support. There are trained staff and dedicated volunteers at Jack Purcell Community Center who are always available to assist with adjustments, whether that's moving a bench, getting equipment set up, or modifying exercises and supporting with resistant band work. What's really unique is the volunteers know the participants so well, they often know their specific workout and equipment setups by heart. That level of consistency and familiarity makes a huge difference in creating a smooth and comfortable experience. Angie works both independently and with support depending on the day, and that flexibility is key. And something that really stood out, Angie and the other gym goers share that this space feels like home. That sense of belonging, routine, and welcome is just as important as the physical supports themselves. I would have loved to have Angie with us here today, but she's exactly where you would expect her to be, sticking to her routine and getting her workout in, just down the street at the gym at Jack Purcell, and it's been a real game changer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for talking about some of the amazing programs offered by your department and sharing that story with us. The programs that you offer fill a critical need in our community and have a lasting impact on those who take part. We're just going to take a very, very short break. So just 5 minutes to flip things over for our panel. So please take the 5 minutes to grab a refreshment, use the washroom, or have a quick stretch. If you need any support, we've got staff in blue shirts or our PSWs in the white t-shirts. And we will be back promptly in 5 minutes. So that's 11:13. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, give me an arm. Okay, we're gonna get started again. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I know some people are still getting seated. For the next part of our event, I'm thrilled to hand over the floor to my colleague, Justin Halpenny. Justin's a client care specialist with our Community and Social Services Department at the city, and will be moderating our panel discussion today, which is made up of world-class athletes, advocates, and community experts in accessible sport. Over to you, Justin.
Thank you, Megan. Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Justin Halpenny. I'll be moderating today's discussion panel and facilitating the questions. I used to play wheelchair basketball for some time here in Ottawa. I'm a client care specialist with Employment Social Services with the City of Ottawa. Before that, I was an administrative support clerk with the same service area. Started my journey here in 2011 with the city. During that time, I've been a big advocate for accessibility, both from a staff view and a client public point of view. When I came back from leave in 2017 I was in a wheelchair, and that's actually when I really started to see how many changes needed to be done. About today, what's going on? Now can you hear me even better? Great. All right. Accessibility Day reminds us that accessibility is a shared commitment to inclusion, equity, and belonging. This year, we're proud to celebrate Accessibility Day through a partnership between the City of Ottawa and Wheelchair Basketball Canada. As Ottawa prepares to host the IWBF Wheelchair Basketball World Championships this September. The theme for this year's Accessibility Day is Game Changer. Accessibility Sports in Action highlights the transformational power of inclusive sports, its ability to change stereotypes about persons with disabilities, bring people together, break down barriers, and strengthen our communities socially and economically. Today, we're honored to bring together dedicated athletes, advocates, and community leaders who are changing perceptions, eliminating barriers to help to build a better city for everyone to join in the games. There'll be a discussion between myself and the panelists, and then we will have about 15 minutes at the end for questions. All right. So we will start off with, we have Lee Melnick and Tyler Miller from Wheelchair Basketball Canada.
Hello. My name is Lee Melamick. I am a wheelchair basketball national team athlete, and I've been on the national team since 2018 and been to 2 Paralympic Games, most recently Paris and Tokyo. Yeah.
My name is Tyler Miller. I'm also a member of our Canadian men's wheelchair basketball team here in Canada, obviously. I've been to 4 Paralympics. In 2012, we won gold, so that was a long time ago and ages me a lot, but you know, like that's one of our big successes here. But I'm super excited to be here, and let's talk accessibility.
All right, now we have Christopher Holden from SkiAbility.
Thank you. So I'm one of the founders of SkiAbility Ottawa. I've been a para coach for over 40 years. I've served as a coach for grassroots all the way up to Team Canada for a couple of different sports. And I've served on several national and international accessibility and adaptive sports committees. It's an excellent foil here, or time to talk adaptive sports and accessibility and inclusion. My passion is about championing accessibility and inclusion and using sport as a foil to improve quality of life. It's an integral part of us as Canadians to get out there and enjoy the great outdoors and be able to, be active from the beginning of our journey to the end. So thank you.
And last but not least, we have reps from Special Olympics Ottawa, which is Johnny Byrne, and an Olympian, a Special Olympian athlete, which is Sophia Lacrosse-Finn. Close.
Well, my name is Sophie and Lacrosse Palafin, and I am a Special Olympic athlete. Okay. Well, a little bit about me is I have been with Special Olympics for over 17 years. I have participated in many different sports. That includes all my favorites. So, with gymnastics, alpine skiing, golf, soccer, paddling, and pickleball. Special Olympics is for everyone with an intellectual disability, but it shows me have more abilities than everyone can imagine. After doing recreational gymnastics at the Ottawa Gymnastics Club, when I was little, my trainer asked me if I knew about Special Olympics. She saw how much I love the sport and my potential to grow and compete. My cousin trained me at Ottawa Rhythmic Gymnastics Club, so I tried out, and the head coach, Sing Jen, invited me to join her club. She also trains the Special Olympics Ottawa Rhythmic Gymnastics Bywers who train once a week. I have joined many competitions over the years at different levels in 2019. The fun part, I won gold medals for Canada at the Special Olympics World Games in Abu Dhabi. I participated other sports too. I started to learn ski with my family, then joined CADS and found out Veloce in Wakefield had a Special Olympics Ontario program.
You got that right there.
My parents came volunteers, and we haven't stopped joining the slopes. Special Olympics is not just higher levels of competition. There are different levels for everyone. It is also great if you want to be active and social. It is great to keep in shape, have fun, and meet new people. and connections.
Awesome. Nailed it.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's always rough to go after Sophie Ann, but just quick, I think Special Olympics, the most important thing for you to know is when Olympics is in the name, the first question you always get is, when are they? I think why it's important to have Sophie Ann here today, she talks to you about what is Special Olympics in your community, and that's key. There's over 500 athletes that are involved in Special Olympics programs in over 25 different sport programs in Ottawa that start at the age of 2 and go over the age of 80. And those are all in both community and in our schools. So excited to be here today to talk about Special Olympics in the community, and most importantly, the impact.
Thank you, everyone, for introducing yourselves. All right, this question is for everybody. How can we include families and groups of all ages and abilities in inclusive and accessible sports?
I'll start. As a wheelchair basketball athlete, I'll talk about my specific experiences through wheelchair basketball. And it's a good sport to have inclusivity because of, as far as provincial team level, you can have able-bodied people compete with people with all sorts of disabilities based on a classification system. So recently I was in Vancouver, and we had the national championships, and on our Ontario team, which won a gold medal, we have several able-bodied people and people with lower classifications like myself with a spinal cord injury. So it's a balanced and inclusive, and family and friends can try it out. And yeah, so everybody can bring their family and have a run at get in a chair and feel how it feels to push around. And it's a good sport to be inclusive.
So I'll just build on what Lee said. I also am the president and head coach of a wheelchair basketball club team in Kitchener-Waterloo. And from the recruiting side, us being a super inclusive sport and letting everyone pretty much play that can play safely is huge. Because, for example, if I'm trying to get out a newly injured person or a younger player, they can bring out a sibling, they can bring out a friend, they can bring out a parent, and they can compete fairly side by side. We put them both in a chair, and the two of them, it gives a certain amount of confidence that otherwise these people wouldn't have to get involved and show up every week. Sometimes those training wheels do come off, I got to be honest, because over time, sometimes like the person's like, hey, mom, dad, no, you're not coming anymore. Now you stay on the sideline, or says to their brother, hey, I'm good now. Like, you go do your own thing. And if that happens, great. But there's also siblings that literally play for 20 years side by side. And it's what they do, right? And it's a way that an able-bodied person and a person with a disability can come together and compete and play and have fun together. So wheelchair basketball, from that perspective, is super inclusive.
For skiability, skiing, water skiing, wakeboarding, wake surfing, whatever the towed water sport is often viewed more as at a competitive level, an individual sport. But at grassroots, think about the cottages and the lakes and the rivers that are out there, and it's about a family and an open ability to get out there and enjoy the great outdoors. And so that's something that we work really hard on at Skiability Ottawa and across Canada, in fact, when we're doing these skiability clinics and driving programs, not just within Ottawa. Our group is really focused on leading from the front, leading from the capital, and making sure that skiability programming is available throughout the country. And really what it's about is getting people involved, allowing them to get in the boat, being able to cheer on their friends or family, making sure that it isn't just about a lesson, go out and ski behind the boat and come back to the dock and okay, we're done. It's what is that holistic experience look like? And then how do we actually take some of those athletes and allow them to grow beyond just being athletes, get them coming back as volunteers, giving them the avenues and the capacity and the training to be program coordinators, to be advocates, and to be coaches for the new and upcoming. So really it's about making sure that there's a continuum for our athletes and our community members.
Sophie?
Yes. Um, Special Olympics have many events that include everyone with all ages and abilities for people to try different sports. Once an athlete figures out what they like the most, they can continue to learn more in SL. Special Olympics have good trained coaches and volunteers. Family members and friends of athletes can become volunteers. My parents did. My mom became team manager, then head coach for the Ottawa Special Olympics Snow Stars at Salt Village. She also a coach in rhythmic gymnastics. I have met so nice volunteers over the years, and Special Olympics have great trained coaches to help us.
Yeah, and I think just building on what Sophie Ann was just saying, one of the biggest barriers for Special Olympics is obviously sometimes, strangely enough, our name, because it is very highly well known. But when something's known, it often comes with perceptions. It's like, this is what Special Olympics is. And often it's because you have the name Olympics, people make the assumption it's an event, it's only for the highest level of athlete. And as Sophie Ann was talking about, it's for all abilities. And as also for us too, as we say, it's all ages. And that's the key thing for us is I think one of the most powerful things Sophie talked about is actually, well, having Chris here is just having a positive environment that someone enters sport into, because that first experience makes a huge difference on if this is something for me. That's something, it's foundational for Special Olympics, but it's also for Sophie Ann. If she didn't have a positive experience with Chris, she wasn't going to continue on to be a world champion and go to a World Games. And I think that is really key, is key to us. And I think when you talk about it in the community, Special Olympics in Ottawa is when we say we run 25 different sport programs. That's 25 independent sport programs that run across the city. And then we also run school programs throughout the year in many Ottawa schools that cover all boards. And key thing about our school programs is that they run on a unified program, which is students with and without disabilities that play together. And that really creates a foundation, building with our youth, that creates a environment of inclusion, and that leads to the next generation of being involved. So we're very excited to be able to be here and talk about it. And really, Sophie talked about the experience, because I think the biggest thing for us is we want more individuals with disabilities to have the opportunity to be active, and just know that these are positive places where you can come, and it's not about having to compete at the high level. It's about being active. The majority of times when I talk to Sophie Ann and her friends, and the story really sticks with me. I was at a Special Olympic snowshoeing competition this past winter, and I met an athlete who just started last year, and she said she just got a diagnosis of autism, and she was looking for a place, and she found Special Olympic snowshoeing. And the thing for her wasn't the fact that she just won a medal at this competition, it's the fact that, as she described it, she said, I found a place where I have friends. And like, that was it. It wasn't like, oh, I can have a chance to go on to a national games or a world games. It's like, no, this is a place I have now in my community where I can be active, be safe, and have friends. So that's something we want all athletes to have.
The next question is for Tyler and Lee. How did you first get into playing wheelchair basketball, and what are some of the defining moments for you as a player so far?
So I first got into wheelchair basketball in 2016, about 6 months after I had a spinal cord injury while working. Before I got injured, I loved sports. I played basketball, baseball, and football through high school, so I really wanted to jump into something right away. And luckily, through my rehab clinic, there was a recreational therapist who set me up with the local club, Variety Village. I still play there today, even, and loved it ever since. So 2016 all the way till I guess 10 years now. So yeah, and defining moments. Well, 2019 was I was part of the Canada Games hosted in Red Deer, Ontario, and that's like a provincial competition. So I was on part of Team Ontario, and that's a defining moment for me because first of all, it was an incredible event, and it was my first taste of how uh, intense the crowds can get. Like I was in the gold medal game against Alberta, and I remember just screaming and cheering, and even when I was at the free throw line, some boos, and that was quite the event. And then since then, Paris, was phenomenal. The crowds were so loud, and my family got to go, and that was great support.
I got into wheelchair basketball. I was injured in a workplace accident in 2007. I was in a crane accident that dropped 2,000 pounds of steel on my back. So naturally, it didn't leave me in the best spot, and basically changed my whole life. But I had this one friend who had another friend who played wheelchair basketball. So basically, week after week, this guy kept calling me, "Hey, you should come out, you should come out, you should come out. I know a guy, and I just said no. And then eventually, he wouldn't take no for an answer. He literally showed up at my house and literally dragged me and put me in the car. He's like, "You at least have to come out and see what it's about." So I went out, and that was history. That's kind of where it started. I started out, playing on a club team, and then I worked my way up the ranks to the national team. Wheelchair basketball has given me so much. But when you talk about experiences and some of my favorite moments, winning in 2012 at the Paralympics at the top level is amazing, and you know what I mean? I'll always remember that. But playing in front of a home crowd in 2015 at the Pan Am Games in Toronto, having family, friends, having a Canadian crowd, having them sing "O Canada" before our final against the US was very, very, very special to me. And to bring that full circle to modern day, us hosting Worlds here in Ottawa from the 9th and 19th Wheelchair Basketball World Championships, I think can even maybe one up that, because that this is the whole world. We're going to have 28 teams here. It is going to be quite the experience, quite the show. It's super organized, and I am super, super psyched. As an athlete, you don't get experiences like that. You don't get major competitions at home, on home soil, with Canadian support. So I guess I went off topic, but I had to. Super psyched, and like I said, thank you.
All right, Christopher, this is a question for you. Can you speak about the impact of skiability work with persons with disabilities and how the value of inclusive design fits into this work? Inclusive design in its context, designs with the person so that the design of the equipment programs that they are taking part in are personalized to the person.
Yeah, I think I can take that. The easy part, or the most visible part of designing sport programs, I think, for those with disabilities and making it open and inclusive, is the sports equipment that's required. But I want to go for something a little bit different today and talk more about the invisible side. And it's going to touch on something that Wayne had talked about earlier, and that some of the things that my fellow panelists are saying. It's really about designing a sports programming and coaching methodology to be open and inclusive. Not being protective of our athletes, making sure that we're building people up, that we're part of a larger community, and successes for one are shared successes for us all. So a lot of what we do in skiability is we're making sure that people are coming in with an open mind. We're giving them opportunities to describe what does success look for them. Sometimes they're coming in with a more of a cautionary or I'm a little bit nervous about the water, I need something a little bit slower. And then we have other individuals that are coming in with shared or lived experience that's they've grown up on the water, they've been skiing all their life, or they have other sports experiences that we need to be able to build an experience for them that they want to come back. And if we start everybody at the same level and build, from the ground up, then it doesn't make the best sport experience for them. We need to be able to tailor the skills and that we're building for that individual. So getting to talk to them, being able to say, what is it that is going to make it good for you? Where do you want to go? Are we doing this for sport? Are we doing this so that you can go out and enjoy it with your friends and family at the cottage that you've never had the opportunity to do? You've been watching other people go off the dock. Or do you want to be at the World Championships? Do you want to be that competitive skier? Okay, well, let's develop a plan for any and all. And so, that journey changes throughout life. I know that these gentlemen here are also doing programming, like getting the new wave, the next generation of Team Canada players, hopefully, some of them. And if they're not Team Canada players, that's okay. They're getting out, they're experiencing part of what is great about sport, the camaraderie, the physical literacy, and just being able to develop new friendships. Thank you.
Thank you. This question now is for Sophie Ann and Johnny. Can you talk about the impact of Special Olympics have on athletes with disabilities and how they also benefit the broader local community? How do the Special Olympics challenge stereotypes about persons with disabilities?
All athletes in Special Olympics are welcomed, included, and feel that we belong to a larger genesis. Different levels compete against. Oh my god. Sorry.
Similar?
Thank you. Abilities by divisioning. It is so much fun. Oh yeah. And we get to meet many great people and travel to meets and greet comedic competition or races. People see how good in people with different ability can be at sports, and with proper support and training, we can keep together better. Regular sports competition, like soccer for me, became too high level after elementary school, but with Special Olympics, we compete or play with athletes with the same level of ability. In rhythmic gymnastics, the generic clubs compete by age group, but with Special Olympics, you can participate in any age. Being included in a big sports family transforms our life for the better. Special Olympics is safe and very inclusive, love it, club where we can be ourselves, doing our best, never give up, our people in the community can volunteer, help raise, or cheer us on. Yay. We have a welcomed place to shine and enjoy activities with everyone.
So Sophie talked about the heart and what it means to athletes, and I get to come in with some hard facts. And because I think that's one of those kind of things over the years that Special Olympics now it's like, okay, it's seen as a good thing. We hear from people, it's like, okay, well, this has a positive impact on my life. So been very fortunate to partner with some incredible researchers, and recently they've shown that athletes, individuals with intellectual disabilities involved in Special Olympics versus their peer groups that are not, they're 49% less likely to experience depression. They have a 16% lower incidence of diabetes versus their peers that do not. And those are because those are things that we knew, but it's like, it is good to be able to say, well, it's like, no, this does make a direct physical impact. We also hear the stories from our volunteers, those that are involved. Like the common phrase we always get is like, I get way more back than I give. Because it is a positive experience. It is a sense of joy. Like that's sort of the environment they're coming into. And hey, when you get to spend a couple hours a week with Sofiane, you can imagine it's a positive influence. It's a positive influence in your life. In like when you look at that broader community, it's like how does that bring it together? There's some impacts of just being here today and talking about the positive impacts of inclusion, of including everybody, makes your community stronger. Like that's just pure and simple. But I think there's also, once again, like we're in the city council chambers. We know they talk money. There's an economic driver. The World Championships are going to be millions of dollars to Ottawa. Ottawa hosted the Special Olympics Ontario School Championships last year, hosted by Ottawa Police, who's one of our biggest supporters. We did our first economic impact study at our provincial summer games and brought in over $3 million to that community. And that's our provincial games. And those are, once again, facts of like, okay, if you want to talk about the broader, this is good for our community, but also too, it's like, no, when you bring events, when you support, you're going to bring, it is going to have a positive financial impact on your community. And we've also done work and studies on what is that social return on investment? So when you give $1 to Special Olympics, well, what does that mean? Because we do count on fundraising dollars. The key to our program is that they're low to no cost. There is no registration or membership fee to be a member of Special Olympics, because that's key, because there's no Special Olympics tattoo that says you're only Special Olympian. Like we want our athletes to take as many opportunities as they can, but we know individuals with intellectual disabilities, unless they're in a very supportive environment, like Sofiane is very lucky too, many are not. And many are at or below the poverty line and are living on social assistance. So for us, it's key that there is little to no cost that's going to be involved in that. But when you put all these things together, I'll just take it down to this. It's like, okay, well, what does it give back? If you give $1 to Special Olympics, it's shown to return more than $8 back to your community, both in the health impacts, the social impacts, and the economic impacts. So to sum it up, you give $1, we're bringing $8 back to Ottawa.
Thank you. And this question, I want to hear from each one of you about how we can create a connection between municipalities, our schools, our community programs, sports organizations, so that people can get involved in sports throughout their lives.
From my experience and how I personally got involved in sport is when I first started at my club, Variety Village, which is just a local club on the east side of Toronto. I went to my first practice, and there was a player. His name was Jesse McNally. He's an able-bodied player, but he was incredible, and I just was amazed at what he could do in a chair. And I thought, oh, I want to do that. So it's part of this, in my opinion, would be like something like Ottawa 2026, where we're going to host the World Championships, where We get to see the highest level of sport, and that inspires people to think, oh, maybe I can do that, or I want to participate in something like that. And then from there, there needs to be the groundwork of local clubs that you can then contact and get involved with, or through school visits where they try wheelchair basketball for a day, and you just get to first see the highest level of it and get inspired by it, and then have the ability to join a local club to actually have fun and get into it yourself and realize what these, all across the board, what these adaptive sports and how incredible they are.
So we have some very unique problems in wheelchair basketball. They're not really problems, but they are. And I'm going to come at this as someone who runs a wheelchair basketball club, who is the president and coach. In wheelchair basketball, there's all kinds of amazing opportunities. There's guys can go and get scholarships to play wheelchair basketball in the U.S., around Canada. They could go overseas and play professionally in Europe. So what that does is that dilutes a lot of our clubs, because you go and you're taking players from our clubs. So that's why, as someone who runs a club and tries to put teams together every year, it's important that a club is more than just high performance. A club is, yes, we have people who are building and striving to go to the Paralympics, but we also have players who come out every week and they want to stay in shape. We have players who come out every week and they enjoy the camaraderie. They enjoy, hey, we're going on we go and we travel and go to Quebec and we play in tournaments, and they love the camaraderie of being part of a team. They love their jersey. They wear it. You know, some people wear it when they're not even on the court. They're just so proud. And that's why a club has to be wear a lot of different shirts, and it has to be kind of something to everyone. It's always going to be different. So the biggest thing I find is when we go out in the community, and the way that you connect that is by going and taking, like you said, chairs to a school and being like, hey, let's get these young kids involved and show them what it's like. Because then, you know, it's funny because we'll go and do an event like we have set up outside, and we'll have a random person who's 40 years old, and he's like, you know what, I remember when I was in college, you guys came in and did a demo at my college, and I tried it and I loved it. And I was so excited to go and do this demo today, right? And that's where it is. It's about getting involved and getting out there, and just a simple demo, right? That puts that little seed in like 50 people's minds that, you know what, and going forward, they're going to carry it and they're going to pass it on, right? So I think that's what it is. And it's just about volunteering. We need more volunteers. We need people with passion, like I have across this panel here in front of us, right? We need to continue to get that, because that's really what makes this work. Listen, I'm not kidding. Listen, we need as much money as we can get to, right? Obviously that, you know, that's what greases the wheels to make things work. But volunteers are also so essential.
Thank you. I'll build on that as well. From a volunteering perspective, we always need volunteers for the existing programs. But don't be afraid of starting a program or finding ways to start programs, whether it's for water skiing, you come and see me, or for any of the other types of sports that you may be passionate about. We need these sparks in the community to be able to say, okay, can I get involved? But more importantly, can I be a leader? Can I create that spark within my neighborhood, within my sport community, and give that that athlete that's looking for something that they may not have known about? How do we create that within ourselves? I'm getting a little long in the tooth. I've been at this for 42 years, I think now. And at some point, I'm going to have to retire, and I want to make sure that I can hand off my program, not only here within Ottawa, to someone that can drive it and keep that flame, that spark alive, but also make sure that we can create opportunities, not just within South Ottawa, but can we create those in East Ottawa? Can we create them in other places in Ontario? Can we be the leaders that make sure that we could ignite those flames across Canada? So it starts with each and every one of us saying, what can we do? What can we do to create that opportunity? And how do we share what we have within ourselves, within that sporting environment?
Communi- oh, there we go. Communication and awareness of Special Olympics school program is important to create connections and also have junior coaches who get volunteer hours can spread the word how would of how much fun, yes, we athletes can be. I tell my friends how they can be involved in Special Olympics these days. I share my photography by selling cards to raise money Special Olympics for going to Special Olympics National Games. It's, it's going to happen in August this year. I participate in motion ball, which is community. Our business teams who get to play sports with athletes like me and raise more money for Special Olympics. Another example to create connections is to partner with generic organizations like the Village Race Club and the Ottawa Rhythmic Gymnastics Club, who also provide the best in coaches to help us learn and do our best and keep on going.
No, we got 2 minutes. We're good. A couple of points here. I'm going to nail it here. I think the volunteers is key. Special Olympics Ottawa has to run a lottery for some of its programs because of facility capacity and volunteer capacity. So more people come out, more athletes have opportunities. And obviously, like City, hey, build some more facilities. That'd be awesome too. But realize that's not something that's going to be done. Done here. I think the other thing is we need to listen to our youth and listen to our individuals with disabilities for them to tell us what they need, tell us what they want. I'm not the person that's going to dictate that. It's going to be Sophie Ann and her friends. I was lucky enough, I just came back from London, Ontario. We had our Special Olympics Ontario School Championships. We had over 1,000 youth and educators there from over 100 schools across Ontario. We had about 10 schools from Ottawa that represented your city and their schools at that. And that is full of youth leaders that we're listening to. But I think that's something that has to be key. And I think the next thing is what you can do is make sure you're coming out to the World Championships in September. Like, be there, be that voice, see amazing athletes in action. Sophie Ann talked about our national games coming up. Cheer on. Ottawa has 25 athletes and volunteers that have made Team Ontario that are going to be going to the Special Olympics Canada National Games in Medicine Hat this summer. Cheer those athletes on in August when they go. They're representing you. They're coming from Ottawa. They train in Ottawa. In your facilities, they're from your communities. And we'll hopefully have some athletes from that games from Ottawa that will go to Santiago, Chile to be a part of the World Games. And once again, we're not an event, but we've run some pretty cool events. And those athletes get to be the inspiration, like our athletes that are here. Like, they're that inspiration for those kids out there that are thinking, can I do it? It's like, is this something for me? So get out, cheers on. Thank you for being here. And Sophie Ann, thanks for letting me speak with you.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for all coming out. It was a great discussion. And best of luck in the games in August.
Thank you.
And for the World Championships that are coming up in September. I'm hoping that most of you guys can come out and support the teams here in Ottawa. It'd be great. And we're going to open up the floor to questions and answers from the audience. Yeah. Do we have microphones around here? We do. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. I It's an asthma day for me, so my voice isn't. Oh, now it's on. So my voice isn't very strong. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you very much for coming out and speaking with us all today. I do have a question for those of us that would not be in the competitive world and maybe are looking in terms of just trying to do things again, you know, that have accidents and you can't do the same things. Like my mobility has been compromised by several accidents. What avenues do you have for someone like me? I was really interested, even like about the ski programs. I know my youngest niece, unfortunately, has muscular dystrophy, and they have a ski program at Calabogie, but she's 8 years old, and they have certain things there. I never skied as a as an adult, but I thought, wow, that looked really cool. So I'm kind of curious about what avenues you have for participation for someone like me and like not going to be. And one of the things particularly was the boating. Like I used to love to get into a boat. I used to water ski when I was in my teens, but I haven't done that for years. But like just to get into a boat when everybody else is going out water skiing, like I don't have that mobility. So I'm kind of curious, like, do you have programs where you help to do things like that?
Thank you
For inclusion? Sorry.
Thank you for your question. Absolutely. We're many of the sport programs, including Skiability Ottawa, is open for um, uh, individuals of all ability and all ages. And really what we want to do is open the doors and allow for, you know, from grassroots, let me try it the first time because it sounds like a cool thing, all the way through to the championships. But you don't have to compete. It can be just, you know, I want to come out on, we run on Saturdays in the summer. I just want to come out and you know, experience water skiing today, and then if you want to try wakeboarding the next week, that's great. We have all of these avenues that are out there. And if water skiing isn't the thing that you thought that was great, I guarantee you that there's other sports in Ottawa that will pique your interest, and we have we share those experiences with it. And as we're talking about with Special Olympics, wheelchair basketball, we know people in the community. Even just walking around today, there's a dozen or more people that I'm running into that are past coaches, past athletes, volunteers within the organizations that we're talking about or talking to. So show up and come out and experience it. Don't have to be at the top level. And it's something that you might grow into. It might be like, oh, it does allow me to explore more than I thought I was capable of at the beginning. But it doesn't have to be the top level.
Thank you. Any other questions from the audience? We'll go, you.
I think that in the wheelchair sports, we need to include the curling. Just a reminder that in the last Paralympic, it is the Canadian team that won the gold in wheelchair curling. There's a good program going on here at the RA Center. So anyone who is interested in getting involved there, it's really worth it. Thank you. I pray I was part of it for several years. Thank you.
You're welcome. I think there's a question over there. All right.
Okay. Okay, what can I say?
Anything you'd like to say?
Oh, okay. And to be thankful for all the Olympics team who participate in sportings, basketball players, and the gift to be thankful that they can continue throughout the life and keep it growing, because I'm so happy for these basketball players in wheelchairs all over the country and the city, and I'm so thankful for what you've done for us, and keep them going as well as they can continue with the ability, with the body and the power and the strength in our country. We're so lucky to be so happy. Thank you very much there for everything. Well done.
Great job.
And also watch under the picture.
I think there was a question in the middle here as well.
Hi, I just had a question for Lee and Tyler. I was curious to learn more about the high performance element of wheelchair basketball, especially with Worlds coming up. Like, what goes into training for this kind of event, and how do you make the national team?
Um, well, to start, I'll say about how to make the national team. It starts from the club teams, it starts from grassroots and getting involved in whatever local team is going on, and just finding that passion and that ultimate love for the sport. And from there, you just compete, you get to play in games, and then you step up to a provincial level. And then from there, there's people that will be watching. You'll get like scouted and go through the ropes and stuff and go to camps and eventually just work your way up to that final men's national team. And then what we do to get prepared, well, we just came back like last week. We had a national championships in Vancouver where all the provincial teams competed, and then right after we have a men's national team and women's, but training camp where we're doing 2 practices a day for 5 days straight, bringing all the athletes across the country, and we'll have one more of those training camps, and then several more hosting of competitions where we bring in national teams from other countries just to get the high level reps in. So we'll be training real hard this summer to put the best performance forward in Ottawa.
It's funny because as a parasport, before I got hurt, I knew very little about it. I just was like, okay, well, to make the national team, you go out and you just play basketball. But there's so much more to it. For example, Lee talked a little bit about the training, but in our world, we're the equivalent. We have the same restrictions and requirements as the Olympic teams do. So, for example, for funding, we have to win. We have to compete. We have to play at a high level. We can't just go out and be like, hey, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of pressure on us as athletes going in to these world championships and into the next Paralympics, because we want to make sure we keep our funding so that that next generation is able to continue that legacy and continue building forward. But I have to be honest, in Canada, we have an amazing platform that enables us and really supports us as athletes to give our best and do our best. But we have to hold up our end, which is competing and winning.
Anyone else want to answer that question too, or?
I think I'll just maybe put it out to them. But how much of the time is actually spent on the court versus all of the other stuff that has to go on, the mental training and the gym work and all of the stuff that surrounds the game?
I'd say probably half the time is on the court, half the time is off court. Like you gotta, dial in everything from recovery, stretching, nutrition, mental performance, and just team culture overall. And then, yeah, it's busy, especially when this summer comes around, and it's really just 100% your focus needs to go on your performance.
I'd say the easiest way to explain it is there's 12 members on our team who actually play. And then in the background, there's probably another 12 that make it happen. But imagine you were running a small business and you had 12 people and they equally owned a share of that business. Basically, you have to all function as part owners and keep tabs on each other, hold each other accountable, and push each other all at the same time. So it's a huge endeavor, more than just going out there on the court and being like, hey, let's win. Like there's so many moving parts. But you know what I mean? I think that's where it's very gratifying though when you do have success, because all those little pieces come together perfectly.
So I think Sophie, and you're going to talk about, because you're getting ready for national games this summer, and that journey for you started 3 years ago. So this is the final step. What are you doing for training right now?
Well, for training, I do my workouts with my mom. I do ballet, and 4 times a week I do rhythmic gymnastics. I push myself, keep going, and for nationals, I just keep going. That's only I can now.
All right, we'll go with you, ma'am. Oh, I didn't see you over there. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aziz. And I'm not sure who kind of is who I'm talking to specifically, who's responsible for the panel, but I'm just waiting for folks to pass in front of me here. I was on a Zoom meeting last year, 2 years ago, and we were talking a lot about the various areas in Ottawa, so Nepean, south, east, west, etc., and the various opportunities that are available in sports. So I believe swimming was a part of it. And there was also playgrounds for children and making sure those were accessible. Also,
it would be nice to see accessibility features for the deaf, such as the alphabet in those playgrounds. When there are slides and structures themselves are accessible, but often you'll see different accessibility features for the deaf community. It would be nice to see the alphabet, as I mentioned. I see that from time to time. It's something that I gave feedback in the past to the city, but I would like to see some features be added to the playgrounds for the deaf. Could be signs or numbers. I would like to ask that. I'm not sure who here would be responsible for that.
I can't answer, but I agree. You're right. We do need to be more inclusive and open to all of our different types of disabilities, so that anyone of any ability can. And we're not just talking about sports programs here. And most of the panelists here are sports programs, but sports starts at the playgrounds. It starts in our parks. It starts on the street playing street hockey or whatever it happens to be in our front lawns. So we need to make the entire community accessible so that our sports programs can bloom, that our programs can start, and eventually if they choose to go to the national teams or get onto that and they work hard on it, then those platforms are also available. But then we want them to come back and have the programming, be the coaches, be that next level of support so that the next generation has more opportunities. We're in a privileged place to be able to say, okay, we're in an even better state now, but we want to get better. We need to do better. We need to look at what can we do to improve the process, to improve accessibility and inclusion. It's no good looking in the past. Let's look forward and find out how do we make those little things so that everybody feels like they're part of the community.
We're going to take one more question down here, and I know there's maybe a few more floating around the room, but our panelists are around this afternoon as well to chat with people further.
Hello, everyone. I'm a person who lives with a collection of non-apparent disabilities, and I also run a wonderful dance organization, Propeller Dance, which has both professional artists as well as recreational classes, and we really see ourselves as artists and athletes, of course. I was curious both from kind of leadership side as well as athlete and I was going to say performers. I mean, you're performing sport. That's my dance lingo. I was wondering also just about the kind of holistic and performance preparation element around mental health and tracking that support throughout a, again, I was going to say athlete's career, both from the lived experience side, because there is a high level of pressure and expectation when you step into these roles. And I honor you all. You're all doing incredible work in the community, and I'm so grateful because the representation is so important. But I wonder from an individual experience, for each person, how do we build in that body-mind experience and the connection between the physicality that you have to perform, but you are a human and a person, and that mental health aspect as well. Thank you. That's the end of my question.
Oh, thanks.
So I'll start with the high performance side. So what's been told to me since day one, and I believe it, is when we feel pressure, which is to perform, what I lay back on and think about in the moment is our preparation, right? So if you know you've put in the time that you need to put in and you've done the required training, I think it's a lot easier to go out there and give your 100%, and whatever that 100% is that day, feel good about that, and you can own that and be good with that. Now, that performance happens for us, whether it's a Paralympics every 4 years or World Championship every 2 years. You know, there's big gaps in between, and I think that's what you're getting at with like the ups and downs of mental health. So we're lucky enough in our organization that we do have support. We have a sports psychologist who really helps us through those ups and downs. But on top of that, it's so important. This is where teammates come in. We find like even me and Lee, we, you know, both got hurt at work. You know what I mean? Like, and you have times with your teammates where literally like, you know, we are butting heads all the time, but then we have moments where he goes to me, hey, Tyler, like, what's going on with this? Like, what do you think? What about the accessibility on that? And we can come together and like have each other's backs too, right? And that's where, like, I'll be honest, as a team athlete, we love traveling together. We travel kind of as our own squad, and we do that. When you're some lone athletes don't get that experience. So my biggest thing would just be to, like, for sport organizations, is to give that resource because it's huge for athletes, but really lean on people who have lived a similar life. So like for me and Lee, we're able to, we both had spinal cord injuries, we both had to rehab, we both had to reinvent ourselves after our injuries, right? And that's the cool thing. Find a peer, find people who've gone through that same lived experience and bond with them, because I think it's easier just to relate sometimes.
Yeah, I'll add to that. As team athletes, we do have the benefit of, being able to learn how to communicate with each other, and you make friends along the way, and that's a huge part of the mental piece. It's like, if you lose motivation or inspiration, you can just, so there's someone there to pick you up. And then also when that doesn't work, there's a staff. We're lucky enough to have a staff psychologist that helps us. But yeah, like the culture piece and just making friends, and whether it's like high performance or not, just that's what sport does. It brings people together, and it makes it enjoyable. And when something's enjoyable, you're willing to put more work into it.
Well, about that story, you can achieve, believe, be yourself, you can do it. And also you can like join a new friend to be a sport like Lee and his friend, and just be yourself. Don't serve, don't be yourself short. Raise up high, you got it, and be your best. And have lots of confidence and just have fun.
Again, I just want to say thank you for the panelists for coming out today, and I'll give the floor back to Megan.
Thank you so much to our panelists. Yeah, a round of applause. That was an amazing discussion. I heard about confidence. I heard about belonging. I heard about high intensity sport, something I can't relate to personally. But the idea of sport bringing people together and trying something new and getting involved in your community were some really great themes. So thank you to all of our panelists for that great discussion. Thank you, Justin, for leading the discussion. And please do, if you have any extra questions, check in with them throughout the afternoon. I have a couple of thank yous before we close, and I'll give you what's happening from here as well. So much goes into these events, and it couldn't happen without a great many people. I want to thank our accessibility working group. I want to thank all of our staff volunteers today, my manager, Tyler, and the city clerk, Caitlin, for all of your, yes, we can do that, yes, we can do that. I want to thank Cindy for, I think it was a year ago when I said, can we do this? And everybody's going to come play basketball, and saying yes, and your team who's made that all possible. I want to thank IT, Josh up in the booth, our photographer Chris, our facilities team, all of our accessibility supports. And I always get a little choked up here. Nothing could ever happen without my amazing and very, very dedicated team, Sarah, Rob, and Natalie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This would not be possible without your organization and your commitment. I hope everyone has, thank you, yeah, definitely a round of applause. I hope everyone's enjoyed the event so far. J'espère que tout le monde a apprécié notre
I
événement.
hope everyone appreciate our event today. We're delighted to be able to celebrate that day with you.
Looking towards the rest of the day, if you're hungry, I hope you're hungry. We're having a lunch provided by Chef Rick's Catering just outside in the hallway here. Our volunteers in blue shirts can provide any assistance needed, and a reminder that our PSWs, Levlin and Delia from Wimble, are here throughout the afternoon. We have the resource fair continuing in the hall until 3. It's a showcase of all the accessible programs, services, and facilities at the city and our partners for today's event. So please take the time to explore, learn, and connect. And one of the highlights of today's event, thank you to Wheelchair Basketball Canada, just outside towards Laurier Ave is an opportunity for everyone to try wheelchair basketball. So take advantage of the opportunity to try something new, have some fun. There's no pressure. It's just all fun and that opportunity to try something. So thank you to the Wheelchair Basketball Canada for your support, for making that possible. And please do check them out online for information on the upcoming games. We look forward to having this amazing event in our city in the fall. If you'd like to keep up to date on everything the city is doing in accessibility, please sign up for our Accessibility Spotlight newsletter on ottawa.ca. And this includes nominations for the Accessible Ottawa Award, which Mayor Sutcliffe announced earlier. I want to also thank the Carleton wheelchair basketball athletes for joining us and helping us with the event today. I don't think I missed anyone at this point. Je vous remercie d'avoir participé à la célébration.
I thank you for participating to today's celebration on Accessibility Day.
Celebration of Accessibility Day, and enjoy the rest of your day.